G'day there guys, it's Markee, back again with another episode of r/Am I the A-hole. Now if you think anyone's the A-hole today, be sure to let me know down in the comments, sit back, relax, and enjoy the bloody good content. Posted by user Vero3255, titled, Would I be the A-hole if I told my brother that I know about his sexual preference? I'm a 24-year-old straight male, and my brother is 17 years old. We grew up in a deeply Catholic household, so our parents are very, traditional. It came to a point where when I was watching Game of Thrones and there was a gay sex scene, my dad asserted that we never watch that show again. Fast forward to yesterday. My brother usually borrows my iPad to do some schoolwork. He naturally used a messaging app to talk with his classmates, but he often forgets to log out. No biggie, I just log it out when it's my turn to use it. However, last night I saw a notification. I didn't mean to read. It said, "Good night, babe," followed by a kiss and heart emojis. This was from a guy who we thought was just his best friend. Now, I know he could be gay or bi or whatever, and I don't have any problems with that. I also respect his privacy, and I totally understand that I should not out him if he's not ready. However, with all the news about the mental health of teenagers lately, I'm afraid of what keeping this to himself would do to him. Also, because of my parents' disposition about these things, I'm afraid that my brother won't ever have the courage to be comfortable enough to ever open up to us. I just want him to know that he has an ally in me, and that I'll love him no matter what. We're a close family, but we're not vocal about emotional things. I've never said I love you to anyone at home. We just know it. That's why no matter how subtle or casual I try to talk to him about this, it would surely be a big moment for us, and he might just feel really unsafe and or uncomfortable. So, would I be the a-hole if I told him I know about his sexual preference? Edit, I apologize for using preference. I admit that I am not well versed in this matter, and I've just started reading up on how to handle this carefully and sensitively. Definitely not the a-hole, but don't out him. Just let him know that you love him no matter what. Yes, use the L word. And that he can always talk to you about anything. You can also express support for gay rights and or acceptance of LGBTQ people around him, so he at least has some idea you'll be supportive when he's ready to share. Yeah, I have no plans of outing him to the entire family. I just thought that talking to him about this would already be considered outing him. If you want the perspective of gay people, I would post this question on r/gaybros. As a gay man, I can tell you that letting him know you know about him will bring a lot of fear and angst to him. Letting him know you support gay people and are very cool with gay people, and would not care if someone in the family was gay, would help him a lot. He needs to have support, not fear that another person knows and could out him, even if accidentally. Also, coming to terms with being gay is not just about telling people and the fear of that. It's about rethinking who you are and the role you have been cast in by society, friends, family, etc. Remember, every relationship he has built is on the notion that he is a straight guy. The very thought of redefining that, no matter other people's reaction, is scary. Unless you need to protect him from someone or something else, let him come out on his own and in his own way. This is his journey and he needs to travel it at his own pace. Would it be truly that frightening if this brother let him know that he has accidentally read the message and tells him that he loves and supports him? I've come from a family where people have been LGBT for 3 generations and have always lived in a country that is generally accepting of LGBT people. So that has probably affected how I see this. But I just can't really see the harm of telling him that he will always be there for him. Seeing as his brother is dating someone, you'd think that he is fairly comfortable with his sexuality for himself, but is more afraid of the outside world. Though, now I'm thinking about this, I have accidentally found out that my brother is bisexual a few weeks ago and haven't mentioned anything to him. So I'm definitely of the mindset that a person should be able to tell when they feel comfortable. The one that makes me feel otherwise in this case is that they come from a conservative environment, and it could do this kid some good to know that he has an ally in his family who he doesn't have to hide from. You can let him know that he has an ally without having to out him. Like I said in my comments, he can let him know his stance on gay people, and even gay people in the family without taking away the kid's control. The sense of control over this is probably the only power the kid feels that he has right now. You take that away, and it will have a big impact, and it might not be positive. I don't think you should let him know that you know, but you can tactily make sure that he knows that you are supportive of the LGBTQ+ movement without outing him, like getting involved in LGBTQ+ causes or speaking about the issues in a way which demonstrates your support. I could do that. Thanks for this tip. To add to this, when your parents are homophobic, call them out on it. It will let your brother know that your opinions are not the same as theirs. You are not a hive mind, and also that you will stand up for him if he does decide later to come out. Please don't just call them out of nowhere if it will put you in danger. Homophobes don't tend to like allies either, and we don't know exactly what OP's parents are like or would do. The thing is, you don't actually know what his preference is, so don't tell him you do. You'd just be one more person imposing expectations on him. What you can do is tell him that you saw the notification, that you're not sure what it means, but that you'll support him regardless, and he can talk to you if he wants. Leave it at that. It'll be awkward for the both of you, so give yourselves time to shake it off. And then, act on it. Don't cringe at gay scenes on TV. Don't differentiate between heterosexual and homosexual couples. Stand up to your parents if the topic arises. Not necessarily into a full-blown fight, but enough to show your brother that you can walk the walk, and take the fight upon yourself if necessary. Oh, I didn't realize this. I apologize, as this is all very new to me. I've just started reading up on how to handle this sensitive matter, and you do bring up very good points. I'll keep those in mind. Thank you. Not a serious reply, but it'd be funny if you left a tab open on the iPad with search results for how to tell your gay brother you love him. Your attitude is great. Be as open and accepting of him as you are here, and I don't see how it could be a problem. Update: my brother came out to me. Many people messaged me asking for an update, so here it is. So most of you told me that I should just voice out my support for the LGBT community instead of directly talking to my brother about his sexuality. This was very helpful, as I did not want him to feel pressure to come out. When I wrote my original post, I was already watching Schitt's Creek, which had non-straight main characters. This was really convenient, because I could simply say remarks like, "Aw, they made a really nice couple," and "Wow, I wish my relationship with my girlfriend was like that." I also asked my bro about Pride Month. He has been going to marches as an ally for the past few years with his out friends. I asked him, "Hey, what's their plan for Pride Month during quarantine? Too bad they can't hold the march. I was thinking of joining." I didn't really know how to be subtle, okay? When our parents went grocery shopping last weekend, that's when he told me. You already know, don't you? I knew what he was asking, but I tried to play dumb. You know that I'm gay, right? I just said, yes. I told him about the iPad incident and hugged him. He cried and asked me not to tell our parents, which of course I agreed to. He then asked if this changed anything between us, which I replied, of course. Now you have to give me better fashion sense. I make jokes when I'm emotional, okay? I told him he has my support no matter what, and that I can help him come out to our parents when he's ready. I also told him that he and his boyfriend, which he confirmed, are a great couple. Then I reminded him that they should always be safe. Giving sex advice to my brother was very awkward. That's it. He's still annoying as hell because, he's my brother. But I've never seen him happier, and I can really feel that a burden has been lifted off his shoulders. Thanks, everyone. Edit: I just realized that it's now June. Happy Pride Month, everyone. Edit 2: wow, this kind of blew up. I was just doing what any caring brother would do, and I'm glad it has a positive effect on other people. I was raised with values to love and accept everyone, regardless of gender and sexuality, so that will never change, especially for my bro. Again, thank you for the overwhelming support. Thank you for a nice, happy post. Reddit really needs it, and I'm so glad your brother's got you. Yes, I'm so happy for you guys. You handled the situation super well. Thank you, OP. You really shined a light on him in tough times. Much love. Your brother is lucky to have you. When I came out in the 60s, it was different. I'm glad it's a more pleasant process without any kicking out of the house. Hell, even when I was coming out in 05, I had a plan. Really, I got outed, but between the time it happened at school and when my parents found out, Some older friends put in place a plan for me. Best update ever. Please tell your brother he needs to log out of social media on shared devices though. Yeah, I gave him a hard time about that too. Told him that next time I'd be replying to his messages if he doesn't log out. Perfect older brother move. Supportive over the things that matter, but able to mobilize top tier teasing over the things that don't. Posted by user former escort 9642. Titled, Am I the a-hole for not telling my fiancé I used to work as an escort? I, 35 female, just got engaged. I've been with him for 2 years, and he's amazing, and think he'd be a great father to my children. There is, however, a secret I haven't revealed. About 3 years ago, before I met him, I briefly worked as an escort. It wasn't long, it was about 4 months, and I don't have some sob story about how I felt abused and exploited because, frankly, I didn't. Like any job, it had its good parts and its bad parts. I don't have some dramatic story about escaping. I stopped simply because I didn't want to do it anymore. I didn't require therapy or rehab, I just moved on and got a normal job. I have been regularly tested and have no STIs, nor so have I any emotional scars from it. So I told myself it's now no one else's business because it won't impact any other relationships. However, it feels wrong I can't share this. He once asked how many sexual partners I had, and I simply said a lot, and told him technically the truth, that I was prolific at one point in my life, but no longer am, and don't intend to do so. I'm still scared to potentially ruin a great thing if I reveal it, but I'm also not looking forward to keeping this a secret for life. Am I the a-hole for keeping it a secret? Jesus, what do you guys think of this one? I think it depends on the partner, but if it was me, I don't think she's the a-hole for keeping that a secret. Not everyone has to give up their past. There was a guy on here a week or two ago who found out his wife was an escort at some point and thought it made her damaged and a bunch of other nonsense, and he was ready to leave her. You'd be better off telling him now and not 15 years from now when he finds out and takes it really badly. You're the a-hole, technically. I feel like the technically at the end is important. I'd argue no one is the a-hole here, but it's definitely true that OP should tell him now. If he also starts going off about damaged goods and other bullcrap, she dodges a major bullet. I mean, I think this is something you'd tell someone before you get engaged personally. Yeah, people are allowed to have their deal breakers, and this is something that definitely could be one of his. He has a right to make a fully informed choice before any paperwork gets signed. On the other hand, at least OP didn't totally misrepresent her past, but in my experience, that he even asked her partner count, something I haven't had a partner ask me in a very long time, indicates he feels some kind of way about it. Maybe he was cool with overlooking a high count, but maybe he wouldn't be able to get past this. Not trying to shame, but these kinds of things have a way of coming out eventually, and you have a way better shot of working through it now if you do so, rather than some point after marriage. Yeah, I'm not trying to shame her for her past. I am kind of shaming her for getting to the point where they are engaged and not bringing up something that is a fairly common deal breaker. I wonder why someone would want to marry another person and not even know what kind of jobs they had before meeting in general. Forget OP being an escort. Can you imagine marrying someone that you didn't know used to own a restaurant, or not know your spouse used to be a welder? What kind of jobs you've had is usually standard, getting to know you stuff, unless you were a high-level CIA spy or something. If it's no big deal, why do you feel the need to hide it? You're the a-hole. Edit, everyone replying to me trying to explain why she wouldn't tell him is dense as hell. This is it right here. If it really was such an insignificant part of her life, she should have no trouble telling him. Yep, I dated someone for a bit who did porn. Came up second date, I'm fine with that. Had it come up, presumably years in, I would have been gone yesterday because of the deception. That doesn't follow at all. There are things in my life that are insignificant to me, and I don't find personally shameful at all. But I objectively know that this news getting out would harm me, because other people don't understand, so I keep it quiet. Same thing here. She's fine with it, but her fiancé wouldn't be, so she doesn't want to tell him. That is reasonable, but if that's the case, we arrive straight back at she's about to marry this man while keeping a secret that could instantly end the relationship, which makes her an a-hole. Because people in general hate and discriminate against sex workers. People have a lot of ignorance when it comes to sex work. Just reading through these comments is proof. So many, it's a deal breaker with no real reason other than it's gross. People are allowed to be discriminatory when it comes to picking their life partner. The fact is, many men and women do not like sex work, and thinking it is gross is a perfectly valid reason to not want to date a former sex worker. OP clearly understands there is an issue because she is deliberately hiding it. You're the a-hole. If you honestly believe that knowing this about you would cause him to end the relationship, then you are marrying him under false pretenses. The element of fraud in that makes you the a-hole. If you also want to consider whether him dropping you over it makes him an a-hole too, I would have to say no. Having sex for money is rather more extreme than simply having an active sex life, and being unable to get past it is, while not saintly of him, at least understandable. It's also no way to live, waiting for the other shoe to drop. Not the a-hole. As someone who spent 18 years in the sex industry, I can understand where you are coming from. Sex work is very stigmatized, and people can be extremely judgmental. It sounds like you are afraid to lose your fiancé over this. However, think about how you would feel if 20 years down the track, you accidentally found out that your husband had a possible deal-breaking secret he had been keeping, something he could have told you before you got married. Would you feel betrayed? Lied to? That you couldn't trust him anymore? That your marriage was built on a lie? Would it be grounds for divorce? Also, think about what keeping this secret would do to you. Afraid he will find out. Afraid he would leave you. It may be the case that this is a deal breaker for him, and he would break off your relationship if you tell him now. Then so be it. There are plenty of men out there who are unafraid to be in a relationship with an ex-sex worker. But it may also be the case that he accepts that this is a part of your past, not your future together with him. You need to tell him now. Update: am I the a-hole for not telling my fiancé I used to work as an escort? So, I thought of what everyone said and considered both sides. I decided that I didn't want this hanging over my head in our marriage, so it was tough. But shortly afterwards, one night, I had a few glasses of wine and I told him I had something I needed to talk about. I had considered seducing him, having sex, and then telling him so I could at least do it one last time, but decided that it would be manipulative and dishonest. So I sat down and told him. When I said I had a lot of sexual partners, it was over a stint of about 4 months as an escort. He was taken aback a bit and said, "That's not something I'd expect." I figured no one would. I dress modestly. I'm pretty conservative with drinking, and I volunteer with kids' programs at my church. I had tears in my eyes and asked him if his opinion of me had changed. He said, "Well, what you did didn't stop you from being the woman I fell in love with, so why should it?" I started crying more, tears of joy. I begged him to let me know if he had any apprehensions or questions, or if it had come between us in any way. He said he may have questions about any cool or sexy stories sometimes, but for now, no. He even made a quip about, "No wonder you blow my mind in having amazing sex. You were a professional." Not really the type of joke I'd normally appreciate, but in that time it was perfect. And we ended up going to the bedroom not too much later. So now I feel like a huge weight has been lifted, and I know just how much my fiancé loves me and what he's willing to tolerate in me. It's wonderful. We're both in lockdown basically now, both working from home, and I'm so thankful to be able to be with a wonderful and amazing man who I love so much and who loves me so much. Thanks to everyone. I had considered seducing him, having sex, and then telling him so I could at least do it one last time. Never do this, anybody. Sometimes our worst selves try to come out to play. The important thing is, she recognized it was crappy and didn't do it. Yes, I agree with you here. She considered it, but ultimately did the right thing, which is what matters. And if we did do something crappy, we wouldn't be likely to admit it. Never in an Am I the A-hole post. I think OP is probably just a very blunt person, though maybe not the most honest person. I know I'm making assumptions based off 2 posts, but it's safe to assume there are probably a lot of things that make OP different from most sex workers. Especially the fact that she got into it, and out of even, it essentially unscathed. I'm not doubting her story, but I'd be remiss if I didn't point out this somewhere. Most sex workers won't have the same fairy tale ending she did. Actually, I think her story is remarkably similar to the majority of sex workers, although it was good luck her sweetie was cool about it. A lot of partners struggle with the idea obviously, but even those guys who let their girlfriends or wives do sex work often try to control them, requiring them not to do certain acts with clients or to contact them before and after every client, regardless of the situation. For example, when she works in a brothel, finding an understanding partner is like gold as a sex worker. Posted by user Casual Coordinator, titled, "Would I be the a-hole if I backed out on buying a Switch purely because my siblings would get to play it?" A little bit of background. I, 15 male, work 20-hour work week along with school, and make a fair wage while doing so. I've accumulated a good spending fund along with a savings fund. This is where it starts. Since I've never made a big purchase, I was doing research into something I was really into, the Nintendo Switch. It just became only $300 at my Walmart recently, and I was really excited. I came to my mum and asked permission, and she said, "It's your money." Sweet, I thought. I can get a Nintendo Switch so I can play with my other friends, and even my grandma, who also heard I was going to buy one after my mum texted her. This is where my plan fell before me. I have 4 sisters who are all younger. They have 4 broken Wiis and multiple controllers, which is crazy. I wanted the Switch as my own thing and thought as such because, well, it's $300, and to a 15-year-old, that's insane. After hearing it would not be allowed to leave the living room, and not only that, but my sisters could play it whenever, I rethought everything. I don't want to share my console because I know that not only will they not chip in, but they will destroy it. I don't want them to lose games, controllers, have rage fits, and get everything dirty and expect me to pay for more. My mum refuses to even think about me taking it to my room and said it would have to be shared. Would I be the a-hole if I backed out on buying a Switch? Edit. I just want to clarify, a lot of people think my siblings are entitled, and they aren't. They are little and love playing Mario, and my mum has always been against video games. Only recently, my mum has even thought about us getting games and DLCs for games. She also isn't trying to steal my money, but thank you for your concern. Also, I will be going soon to switch banks over, but I can't make purchases over $100 on a card for a minor. I live in a big family, so it's always been all share, no selfishness, which I understand. But since I'm getting to that age where privacy is more valuable, I put it up here as I was unsure. Thanks for helping me with this. Also, I love my mum. She isn't crazy or anything, it's just she wants everyone to share everything, and I'm no longer about that. Not the a-hole. Your mother cannot both claim that it's your money, whilst insisting that what you spend it on becomes communal property. That's unreasonable and hypocritical, especially in light of legitimate concerns about whether your sisters will break it. You should talk to your mother and have her agree that as it's your property and she is making you share it, she is financially responsible for it if your sister breaks it. I wouldn't even do it then. She could say that she would, but when it happens, she just doesn't and he has no recourse. He should not buy it unless he can keep it in his room and not be required to share it unless he wishes to. OP needs to secure his money in a safe space that mum cannot just help herself to. A bank account with her name in it is not a good space. Just to get that out there too. Who is to say she won't just take his money and buy a Switch after he changes his mind and the sister throws an entitlement fit? That's true, but at their age, options for securing money are very limited. Best bet is an adult they can trust. Wow, not the a-hole at all. If you buy it, you should get to decide what happens with it. Maybe you could make a deal with your parents that if your sisters break anything, your parents refund the money and replace the broken thing. If not, I'd hold back on buying a console. As a mum of a teenager and her younger siblings, I would think this is a great mature response. Could be worth a try. Could also be more messy. Say for example a scratch across the screen. Kid would want it replaced. Parents could say it's not broken, / not a big deal and does not warrant a replacement. Just playing devil's advocate. Or they might agree to it now, and later on when it gets smashed, the mum may act like she never agreed on it. Written contract, multiple copies. Still no good because the kid has nothing the parents want that he can use to enforce it. No one's the a-hole here. It's fair for your mum not to want you to have a gaming console in your room, or to have rules regarding how much can be used and when. But it's unfair to ask you to share something you're spending your own money on. Update: would I be the a-hole if I backed out on buying a Switch purely because my siblings would get to play it? So I took a lot of your suggestions, and I went to have a good conversation with my mum about the Switch. I explained how fragile it was, how much the controllers were, and how much repairing it would take. I offered that they could play, but that it could be in my room sometimes, and my sisters would have to buy their own controllers to play. She said she didn't realize how fragile it was, and that it was literally 10 inches of glass. She doesn't seem to notice I have it in my room, so that's good, lol. She does prefer me to share it, but she is happy to see that I enjoy my new purchase, and since I was feeling happy, I bought budget-friendly Pro controllers for friends and family to play with. We love playing Ultimate Chicken Horse, and my favorite is Smash Ultimate. Thanks for helping me get through this and get the best outcome. I really needed it. Also, if you recommend any Switch games, I'd love to hear. I only have Smash, Ultimate Chicken Horse, and Mario Kart, so fire some at me. Edit: I got Animal Crossing. My island looks kinda ugly with these weeds, but it's such a fun game. Not guaranteeing I'll friend everyone, but if you want to hang out on Animal Crossing, I'll leave my island open. Friend code is on screen. Not saying I'll friend everyone, but I could use some friends. Last edit, I hope, lol. Damn, the spiders are fast in Animal Crossing. Any tips on catching them and wasps? Nice to hear this update from you. Congrats on the great outcome. I had a feeling your mother was more reasonable than others in your first post believed, and I'm glad she was. Yes, she is. I feel bad I made people think poorly of her, as I love her to death, and I feel awful that I painted her poorly in Am I the A-hole, because she is the best mother in the world. I'm happy it had a happy ending. I was rooting for you. I personally love Sausage Sports Club for Switch. It's a wacky, family-friendly sports game. It's fun for the whole family. I'll give it a look. Thanks. No problems. It's one of my favorite games to goof off with friends. Mortal Kombat is my favorite game on Switch, and I think it's dropped down to $30-ish now. So worth it, and it has story mode to play alone, online mode to verse random people. You can play it on multiplayer with a lot of other things. I sound like an ad lol, but I really recommend it. It's a great game. That was one of my favorite Xbox games when I went over to my friend's house. I didn't know they sold it on the Switch. I'll definitely take a look. G'day there guys, Outro Markee here. Hope you enjoyed the episode as much as I enjoyed making it today. If you did, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Tell me what you thought about it down below. Also, if you like memes, be sure to head on over to my second channel, AmiTheA. It should be one of the sexy Australian faces on screen, the one without the flag. It's my latest and greatest creation, and I hope you like it. Also, I'd like to give a huge shout out to my channel members and Patreon subscribers. You guys do so much good for me, and the support goes without saying, but I'm gonna say it anyway. I love you guys, and I appreciate all the help and support you provide me on this channel. Also, if you want to join the family, links are down in the description below, or click that join button next to the subscribe button. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed that one today. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!